Okay. Good afternoon, class. So our topic for today is Windows System Administrator. Let me share my screen. Okay. All right. Okay. Um, so what is System Administrator? System Administrator is also a type of job. So marami tayong mga jobs after graduation, no? Like programmer, um, system analyst, no? Developer, and etc. So dito, since we are doing the virtualization, so most probably napupunta siya sa system administrator. Okay? So si system administrator is doing mostly doing the virtualization. So dun yung linya niya. Okay? All right. So what is system administrator? This is manages and maintains computer systems, network, and servers within a Microsoft Windows environment. Their responsibilities including installing, configuration or configuring and troubleshooting Windows-based system, managing user accounts and permissions, ensuring data integrity through backups and recovery, and maintaining system security. So most of course, no, as you can see, coming from the title, no, Windows System Administrator, focusing on the Windows systems, no. There is also hybrid na system na sysad or system administrator na can be able to manage Linux and Windows systems. Okay? So mostly sila yung nagma-manage, nagme-maintain, and also nagto-troubleshoot. For example, merong the server went down, no? Or sabihin natin bigla na lang nag-hang yung server. So si system administrator needs to check or needs um, to find the root cause bakit siya biglang nag-hang. Ha? So there is a possibility na nag-hang siya due to lack of memory, no, na kailangan i-investigate. Bakit ba nakukulangan ng memory? Mataas na naman yung size to memory na nilagay ko dito sa server na to. No? Possible na may biglang mga processes na nagra-run na yun yung one of the reason kung bakit, o good example kung bakit nag-high memory, no. May ano mo, may bagong install na application ganoon na bigla-bigla na lang nagra-run na hindi na dati yung time na dinesign, no, dinesign kung ilang gig of memory yung isang server. Nung dinesign yon, wala pa yung application na bagong install na yon. So one of the reason kung bakit, di ba, nakukulangan yung memory. Okay? The next. Okay. So core responsibilities ng isang Windows System Administrator. So maintaining the overall health and performance of Windows-based systems and network. No? Um, of course, si system administrator needs or should or and also must um, na ma-maintain niya yung health, na hindi mag-down. Siya yung dapat mag-monitor, ay dapat laging up and running itong server ko, no? Dapat ano siya, hindi siya dapat lahat ng service ng server ko, o mga server ko, nakakapag-provide sila without any interruption. So dapat every day chine-check niya yan. Ine-health check niya yan. O kamusta ba yung mga servers ko? Pag umupo pa lang yan, no? Ano na yan, dapat yun na yung una niyang tinitingnan. Sa akin, dati, 'di ba, dun sa work ko before, 24/7 kami. So every end of shift, no, every 7 hours or 8 hours nagche-check kami ng health, no, just to ensure na our servers are running fine. Ang dami naming servers. So servers namin dati around 4,000. So if you're going to take a look at it, no? If you're going to check it one by one, hindi yan kakayanin ng isang oras. So doon na pumapasok yung sorry, yung mga scripting, no? Mga halimbawa, isang click mo lang ng script or isang run mo lang ng script, it will show you a report. So ayun. Right? The next is management, user management, creating, managing, and deleting user accounts, setting permissions, and enforcing security policies. Yun yung sinasabi ko sa inyo na using the Active Directory, no? Na pwede ka mag-reset ng password, pwede ka mag-create ng account, mag-delete, and etc. At magbigay din ng mga permissions. Okay? So in our laboratory, you will be able to see it. Okay? The next, software and hardware, installing, configuring, and troubleshooting software and hardware related to the Windows environment. Okay, so self-explanatory naman siya, no? Siya yung nag-i-install, nag-configure, and nag-troubleshoot, no, ng mga hardware related and also software doon sa Windows environment. Okay? And then backup and recovery, sa backup and recovery, siya yung nag-implement and managing yung backup na dapat always pagka for case of the event for the event of disaster, dapat meron tayong good backup na pwedeng ma-recover, no? Just in case na magkaroon tayo ng disaster. Ano ba yung mga disaster? Yung mga sunog, bagyo, tapos maapektuhan yung data center natin or yung mga servers or and then yung mga files natin. Okay? The next, security. Implementing and maintaining security measures to protect the system from unauthorized access and cyber threats. So yung mga cybersecurity na yan, they are also one of the system administrator, no? So they should be the one to ensure na no one can do unauthorized access, no? Doon halimbawa yung mga hackers dapat hindi sila basta-basta makakapasok doon sa network natin or doon sa mga systems natin. Okay, and then ito yung pinaka sorry, core troubleshooting. Kasi this is the core task, no, ng or responsibilities ng isang system administrator na kapag there's something wrong, no, the sysad or the system administrator should be the one to diagnose and should be able to resolve yung technical issues. Just in case na hindi ma-resolve, we also have the principal, no? Halimbawa, it's beyond the level of the system administrator dito sa company natin. So, the system administrator will be the one to reach out to Microsoft. Kaya meron tayong mga premium support with the principal or kay Microsoft. Okay? Then, performance tuning, optimizing system performance for efficiency and speed. Ayun, ini-investigate din kung bakit kung bakit mabagal. So i-optimize niya 'yon para bumalik doon sa dating speed. Kung halimbawa based on analysis kailangan magdagdag, so magdadagdag ng memory or ng CPU. Okay? Documentation, maintaining accurate and up-to-date documentation of system configurations and procedures. So, bakit ba kailangan ng documentation sa system administrator? Kasi, hindi lahat ng system administrator at pagpasok agad sa company marunong na agad. Kasi kailangan niya pang mag-adapt dun sa sistema nila kung paano ba yung mga procedures nila. So kaya kailangan ng documentation kasi hindi porket sysad ka na alam mo na lahat. So there are always new to the process or new to the system. Okay? So yung mga documentation na to, ito yung mga gamit para at least yun yung mga guidelines ng mga bagong system administrator o pwedeng balikan. Halimbawa, nagawa ito sa company for 2 years ago. Halimbawa, 2 years ago na nagawa itong o na-encounter itong issue na to. And then after 2 years na-encounter natin ulit, so at least meron tayong babalikan na, ay, oo nga na ano ko to, na-encounter ko to dati and then meron akong resolution. So na-document mo and ito lang yung kung paano natin i-fix yan. Okay? Kaya napaka-importante na ito. Alright, so ito daw yung mga tasks ng system administrator. Installing and configuring Windows Server roles. Ito yung ginawa natin, Active Directory, DNS, or ginawa natin sa domain controller. Managing user accounts and group policies within an Active Directory environment. Implementing and managing group policy objects or GPO. Ito yung halimbawa, nasa isang network kayo, nasa isang domain kayo, then ang gusto mo, lahat ng estudyante, dapat ang estudyante na laptop na company owned, or sorry, mali. Lahat ng mga teachers na company owned na laptop or desktop, dapat ang ano niya, ang wallpaper is Malayan. So dapat pare-pareho. O lahat ng mga empleyado, no, kahit anong department 'yan, dapat pare-pareho ng uh, ng wallpaper. Dapat puro Malayan. Okay? Then hindi din basta-basta pwede mag-install ng application. Katulad nung ginagawa natin or na-encounter natin sa laboratory, 'di ba? Hindi tayo basta-basta nakakapag install ng application. So it's because of the group policy. Okay? So depende kung ano ba yung mga available na group policy. Ayun, pwedeng enable, pwedeng hindi. So it depends, again, it depends with the management. Okay? Then monitoring system resources and performance metrics. So dapat si system administrator will be able to monitor yung mga resources, yung mga CPU, memory, and also hard drive. Dapat hindi siya napupuno and dapat nasa yung metrics niya, ibig sabihin yung hindi siya umaabot ng the critical stage or critical limit. Na halimbawa, you have sa hard drive, no, or sa hard disk mo, you have 100 gig o 100 TB. Dapat dapat mga 85% dapat you have to you have to take action na, whether mag-delete ka ng mga files or mag-extend ka ng disk or ng hard drive mo. Okay? Then next, deploying software updates and security patches to the machines or client machines. So para lang yan merong update si Microsoft and then kailangan mong i-patch yung laptop mo or yung server mo. No, tulad nito, yung 'di ba may mga iPhone tayo or mga what to call this? May mga Android na phones, 'di ba? Usually nagre-release ng patch or ng update si Microsoft, si Apple, and then si Android, 'di ba? So dapat bakit ba ng patch? Bakit ba nagre-release? Also, there is a possibility na dun sa previous version may Phoenix na issue. Halimbawa, merong dun sa halimbawa ang version is Windows Server 2016. So for month of January, merong issue, no? Merong issue dun sa sa version na 'yon. And then by the second month, meron patch na naman na i-release sa Microsoft for February. Yung patch na 'yon is to resolve yung issue nung January. Okay? Kaya meron tayong mga updates from time to time. Okay? The next, troubleshooting network connectivity issues. Of course, the Windows administrator, this is also part of the tasks and also responsibilities to troubleshoot network connectivity. Halimbawa, may ma-encounter na mga network issue. Okay? Implementing and managing firewalls and security problems. So, part din siya using tools like Windows Admin Center for remote management. For, halimbawa, siya yung naglalagay ng mga server. Ano ba yung pwedeng i-remote? Ano ba yung mga servers na yun? Halimbawa, server 1, 2, 3, and then yung server 5, hindi pwedeng i-remote due to privacy or confidentiality ng mga files dun sa loob. Okay? And then yung using script language or languages like PowerShell for automation. So tulad nung nabanggit ko kanina, kung para dun sa health check, imagine mayroon kang 400 or 4,000 servers, i-check mo isa-isa, ilang system administrator yung kailangan mo. So that's why meron tayong scripting is to simplify lang, no? Gawa ka ng script and then yung script na yun will check all the servers na meron ka dun sa network mo or dun sa environment mo, and then it will give you a report. In the report na yun, it will show you ano ba yung may issue ng mga servers. Okay? And then pagka nakita mo server 001, ang issue na ito, malapit na maubos yung disk niya. So, ikaw as system administrator, you have to to investigate whether you need to perform cleanup or may mga excess na mga files na kailangan na pwede mo nang i-delete, or pwede kang mag-extend ng disk. Okay? The next, Windows File Server. Windows File Server is a computer on the network that provides centralized storage and management of files, allowing multiple users and access and share information securely. So usually, no, ito yung ginagamit talaga natin, no, to share files. Tulad nung halimbawa dun sa laboratory natin, sometimes 'di ba manghihingi tayo ng, sasabihin natin kay IT na, halimbawa si prof nyo, magre-request kay IT na or kay ITSO na um, na ma-access nyo yung path na ganito. No, halimbawa meron kayong installer na kailangan. And then ang request ko is sabihin ko, ITSO, ano mo naman ipa-access mo naman ito dun sa mga students ko under this section. So using the Windows file server, doon nila ginagawa 'yon. And then once na nagawa na nila 'yon, kayo as students makikita nyo sa mga computers nyo na accessible itong file na pina-share ko, no? Windows Server, doon siya nakalagay sa Windows Server. Okay? And then next is Windows File Server key features and functions. So centralized storage. So file server provide a central location for storing and managing files, making it easier for backup, restore, and share data across the network. So this is what I explained earlier, no? Na we can share the data across the network. No? More for specific users lang. Ano ba, ang gusto ko is dalawang section. So pwede ko ilagay ano ba yung mga sino-sino ba yung naka-enroll doon sa sections na to. Ilalagay ko yun doon sa pwedeng mag-access nung specific folder na yun or specific file. And then file sharing, na-discuss ko na to. They enable users to access and share files with each other, facilitating collaboration and communication within organization. So access control, administrator configure access permissions, no? Kung sino lang yung na-identified na allowed. Halimbawa, dalawa kayong section, and then ang gusto ko lang ng section na allowed to access itong file na to is kayo lang. So yung other section under Sir Leo cannot be able to access it unless bigyan ng access or permission. Okay? The next, data management. Tools like File Server Resource Manager FSRM can be used to classify, manage, and track files, enforce quota, and generate quota reports, storage reports rather, streamlining data management. So siya yung nagma-manage ng yung data management is the one you can tool that you can or feature that you can use to halimbawa ang gusto mo is lahat ng mga estudyante doon sa meron silang drive na shared drive na na uh, 1 TB. So exe, well, more than 1 TB hindi na tatanggapin. So halimbawa what ano ka na naka 99 TB naka ano ka na 0.99 o naka 999 gig ka na. And then meron kang 2 gig na kailangan i-save pa ulit dun sa drive mo. So, pagka sinave mo siya, pagka kinopy mo ulit yung 2 gig na yun papunta dun sa drive mo, the quota using the data management will tell you na you cannot add you cannot add file or you cannot maintain files more than 1 TB. So, ayan, yun yung quota, no? Then there's a lot of things pa na you can do with the data management. Tulad nga nakalagay dito na manage and track files, enforce. Dito makikita ko ilan ba yung makikita pwede ka mag-generate ng report na halimbawa gusto mo mag-generate ng report dun sa mga estudyante ko na to na merong 1 TB na shared folder. Sino dito yung alin dito yung ano ba yung mga size ng mga folder nila ngayon? Sino ba yung mga maraming files? So pwedeng makita 'yon. Okay? Ito yung generate storage reports and also track files. Okay? And then protocol support, file servers support various network protocols like SMB ano ba yung SMB? Hanapin natin yung SMB Hindi ko na ma-recall file server SMB. So, meaning nito is server message block. Na? Kaya nga, is a network protocol primarily used for Windows environment and enables users to read, write, and share files, printers, and data across network. Yan. So, yun yung protocol, NFS, network file shares, and also FTP, file transfer protocol. So, ito yung pag halimbawa magta-transfer ka ng files, no, dito naman yung NFS, ito yung pwede mong gamitin or for you to be able to store files and to access files. And meron din tayong SFTP. So, ang difference lang yan, mas secured yung SFTP rather than FTP. So, okay, and then this is just a file transfer protocol lang din. And allowing for flexible and secure file transfer. Okay? Then, Windows servers, Windows file server key features and function, scalability and reliability. Windows file server can be configured for high availability and scalability, ensuring that data remains accessible even if one server fails. Ibig sabihin, punta tayo ng redundancy pa rin to. So, halimbawa, mayroon kang dalawang server. Saan yan? Merge server 1, server 2. Okay, lagyan natin ng kulay. Yan to. Yan. So, tapos, dito, saan na yung shape? Okay. So, virtualization pa rin ito. So, halimbawa, ang file share mo is, ang pangalan is, ito virtual to Halimbawa, Malayan file share. 001. Ano? This is just a virtual. Ibig sabihin ng virtual, pagka ina-access mo tong ito yung makikita nyo. Ano? Ito yung makikita nyo na halimbawa kayo tong mga users na to. Ito, mga users to. User 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Pag in-access nyo, itong Malayan file share, yung mga files na to, yung mga files na makikita mo dito, halimbawa, file 1, file 2, file 3, hindi pala file. Folder 1, folder 2. Yan. Okay? Yung mga folders na to na under nung server na to is dito talaga naka-store yan. Halimbawa, itong folder 1 to 5 na color green is hindi pala. Na color yellow, dito yan nakalagay sa server 1. Yung folder 6 to 7 nakalagay dito kay server 2. So bakit ganon? Kasi sa file server, kailangan mo lang i-consolidate, no? Ito lang yung accessin natin. Pero yung mga hindi kita ni users kung saan ba naka-store yung mga files niya, whether kay server 1, server 2. Ang tanong, bakit kailangan paghiwalayin? Hindi ba pwedeng ano na lang, hindi pa pwedeng sa isang server na lang? Kasi itong mga to, may synchronization sila, no? Pwede yun i-configure na nagsisynchronize ito. Bakit? Pagka kasi nag-down to, or halimbawa nag-down to, accessible pa rin yung mga files mo dito. And vice versa. Pagka halimbawa nag-down naman to, itong server to, accessible pa rin dito. Okay? So pero yung management, kasi pag pinag-isa mo lang yan, so pag walang redundancy, pag nag-down to, wala, down na. So, and then pwede ka pa maglagay pa ng multiple dyan. No? Ayan. So, hindi mo kailangan na, accessin nyo na lang si server, kay server 3 siya, o na kay server 4. Hindi katulad ng merong tayong Malayan file share 001, itong mga to, pwede, dito pa rin, ayan, ma-access pa rin. Ito, isa lang din yung kita ni user, pero technically, apat yung mga servers na yan. Okay? Hindi katulad ng, halimbawa, tatanggalin natin to. So, isa-isa silang ko-connect dito. So, ang dami nilang iisipin. No? Ano bang server ako? Ano bang server ako naka-connect dun sa folder ko na to? Hindi katulad na meron kang Malayan file share na or Windows file server na virtual, dito mo lang, saan ba ako naka-connect? Lahat naman ng files is nandito eh. Yun yung kita niya. Pero technically, magkakaiba sila ng location. Okay? Alright. Ano ba tayo? Yan yung scalability and reliability. Collaboration, the ability to share files and collaborate on documents, presentations, and other projects can be greatly enhanced with a well-configured file server. So using that file server, you can able to share your documents. Halimbawa, nasa ibang bansa ka, tapos halimbawa kayo dito sa Pilipinas, tapos meron kayong colleagues or katrabaho sa ibang bansa, and then sabihin mo lang na yung files natin, o yung ano mo, magkaka-team kayo, sabihin mo na yung files natin is nandito sa drive na to, or nandito sa Malayan file shares natin. So hindi mo na kailangan i-forward through email yung file mo na yun. Okay? So doon lang kayo kahit simultaneously kayo nagko-connect doon sa file share na yon, we don't have any concern. Okay? And then shared documents and projects. Organizations can store and share documents, presentations, spreadsheets, and other project files on the file server. So this is to allow multiple users to access and work on them simultaneously. So this is the same with what I explained earlier, no? And then yun, mga common use cases na naman to. And application data storage, application like Microsoft Office, AutoCAD, and Photoshop can store their data on the file server, providing centralized access and simplifying backup and recovery. So, ibig sabihin kung nasa Windows file server yung mga application data, you can be able to perform backup and centralize lang din. Halimbawa, yung data na yon, mayroon pang ibang gagamit. Halimbawa, ikaw yung as meron ka isang application, no? Na kailangan mong yung mga files mo naka-store dito sa file server mo, no? And then naka-share siya sa ibang server. And then meron pang ulit other application na kailangan gamitin yung files na yon. Hindi lang isang application yung gumagamit. So we can use that Windows file server to access, no? Simultaneously, no? And it is a centralized kung maraming users o maraming application na kailangan umaccess dun sa specific na data na yon. Okay? So shared siya for everyone. Right. So user profiles and folders, file servers can be used to store user profiles and personal folders, ensuring that users can access their data from any network connected to computer. So sabihin, yung halimbawa, meron kayong user profiles, then naka-map yung profile nyo sa Windows Server, kahit saan kayong umupo na location, no? Halimbawa dito doon sa laboratory nyo, yung account nyo is connected doon sa Windows File Server. No, naka-network siya. Ibig sabihin, kahit saan kayong umupo doon sa pwesto doon sa laboratory natin, you can be able to access yung files mo or yung profile mo na parang nasa isang location ka lang. Kasi kahit palipat-lipat ka, yung pa rin naman access mo eh. Nasa ano ka pa rin eh. Naka-shared o nasa shared folder pa rin yan eh. For example, ito. No? Marami kang, ito tayo, no? Ito yung mga nasa laboratory natin, for example, yan. So ito, kahit saan ka umupo dyan, no? Kahit saan ka umupo dito, nagpalit si 1 and 6. Nagpalit si 2 and 3. Nagpalit si 4 and 5. So, pero naka-connect pa rin sila, nagpalit sila ng pwesto Ito. Naka-connect pa rin sila dun sa Malayan file share. Ma-access pa rin nila yung mga files nila. Kasi naka-network lang naman to. Hindi siya sariling folder dito sa mga desktop natin dito. Okay? Archiving and backup. File servers can be used to archive and backup important data, providing a secure and reliable repository for long-term storage. So, meaning you can be able to archive or to store data as long as you need. Or pwede mong siyang reliable repository daw siya. Pwede mo siyang i-store for long-term if you need. Saan ba tayo? Okay, konti na lang. Active Directory, this is what I explained last time. Active Directory is a directory service developed by Microsoft for managing users, computers, and other network resources within a Windows domain. So this is like a centralized database and set of services that control access to network resources, ensuring that users are authenticated and authorize the user what they need. So for example, nasa Malayan tayo and of course, lahat ng empleyado dito merong user account. Okay? And then kung halimbawa, ikaw, kunwari ako, nagpanggap ako as, kunwari empleyado ako pero hindi naman pala, tingin nyo maka-access ako dun sa network? Kahit may dala akong laptop, hindi. Kahit makakonect ako dun sa network, makapag-connect ako dun sa wifi ni Malayan, hindi pa rin ako makaka-access. Bakit? Kasi I don't have the user account to be used to be able to access um the servers. Pero kung halimbawa naka-open yung halimbawa naka-open yung laptop ko and then meron ako empleyado ko ng Malayan and then um nawala itong halimbawa naka-on to tapos umalis ako bigla umalis lang ako nag-CR lang ako tapos merong outsider na umaccess nito maka-connect ba siya? Yes, kasi gamit yung account ko. Okay? So, next. Key aspects of the AD or Active Directory, centralized management. AD provides single point of management for users, computers, and other network resources. So, including the servers, and mga network devices din. Okay? Identity and access management. Active Directory is responsible for verifying users' identity, authentication, and controlling what resources they can access. So dito pumapasok yung, halimbawa, ang gusto kong access ng mga students is, ang ma-access lang nila is hindi ma-access ng students sa Facebook. Pero yung mga professor pwede nilang i-access yung Facebook. Ayan, example lang yan. So it depends um doon sa management kung ano ba yung kung sino ba yung gusto nila na may access sa Facebook sa ganito. Ano, o halimbawa, tulad sa inyo, pagka nakakonek kayo sa Wi-Fi ni Malayan, pwedeng hindi ma-access si students is hindi pwedeng ma-access yung tawag dito, yung AI, any AI, block. Basta estudyante, basta user accounts. Pero pagka sa prof, and AI is allowed. So dito pumapasok yung sa identity and access management. Hierarchical structure. Um, AD organizes network resources into hierarchical structure making it easier to manage and maintain. So hierarchical daw yung the way we manage yung structure ng Active Directory. No, mas madali siyang to maintain kasi nga I explain it to the laboratory, no, para mas makita nyo in actual. Okay? Security policies. Active Directory enforces security policies tulad ng nabanggit ko kanina, kasama siya dun sa GPO or Group Policy Object. Okay? Such as password requirement. Halimbawa, ang password na nilalagay natin is requirements is 16 characters tapos merong special character. No? So yan, part siya ng security policy. Okay? Group policy, AD uses group policy to apply configuration setting to multiple computers and users. Tulad ng nabanggit ko kanina, halimbawa, pwede din group policy na hindi i-allow yung AI. So lahat ng estudyante, lahat ng prof, bawal ang AI. Pwede din i-apply sa group policy. No? Halimbawa, pagka-connect mo pa lang dun sa browser, AI is already blocked. So, yan. Replication. AD replicates data across domain controllers, ensuring that information is consistent. Ibig sabihin, dito tayo, ito lahat, for example, ito Active Directory ito, ang mga servers. So, ginagamit siya for redundancy, kaya siya marami. So, nagsisynchronize din yan. So, tulad lang din ng file servers. Okay? Then DNS. DNS or the domain name system is the phone book of the internet. It translates human readable domain names like google.com into the IP address like 172.217.160.124 that computers to use to communicate. So, for example, no, walang DNS. So, ang hirap kasi hindi mo mame-memorize agad-agad yan, eh. Ita-type mo yan or unless ilalagay mo sa notepad yan na ise-save mo siya. No, na halimbawa, ito yung IP address ng Google. Ito yung IP address ng YouTube. Ito yung IP address ng Facebook. Ang dami. Unlike nung halimbawa, meron tayong DNS. You just need to type. Yung matatandaan mo lang yan, google.com. No, isa lang yung tatandaan mo, yung word lang na Google. O yung google.com, facebook.com, youtube.com. Unlike dito sa IP address 172, ano nga pala ulit sunod sa 172? 'Di ba? So mas madali, no? Mas madali natin as a human readable siya. Okay? Mas madali natin siyang maalala. Okay? The next, the problem. Computers need IP addresses to communicate, but human find it difficult to remember long string of numbers. So kaya nga, no? Yung tulad ng explain ko kanina, ang hirap kapag IP address kasi ilang octet yan, 4. So tapos tatlong digits pa. No? Unless IPv6 yun, hindi mo rin agad-agad memorize yun. Lalo na yun, di ba? IPv4 pala, nahihirapan na tayo. What more pa pagka IPv6. Okay, pero mas madali ang IPv4 kaysa IPv6. Okay? DNS solution. DNS acts as a directory that maps domain names to their corresponding IP addresses. Okay, so how does it work daw, no? Ang DNS. When you type a domain into your browser, your browser sends a DNS query to DNS server. Meron tayong DNS server. So usually DNS server natin merong 8.8.8.8. Tingnan natin na. 8.8.8. Hindi pala ito. Hindi ako makakonect kasi nasa ko ni Malayan. Parang bawal yung ping outside. Sige, itry natin sa laboratory siguro. O kaya pag nasa bahay ako, ipapakita ko. Anyway. Ayan, basta meron tayong DNS server. Doon pagka nag-type ka ng every users, no, pagka nag-type ka ng browser, sa browser ng domain name, magki-query siya dun sa DNS server natin. And then the DNS server then looks up the IP address associated dun sa domain na yun. And then send it back to your computer. Okay? So example, imagine that you want to visit example.com. Your browser does not know how to reach example.com. And then it sends DNS query, no? It will send a query to the DNS server and then looks up with the corresponding IP address. Let's say ang IP address ni example.com is 192.0.2.1. Then your browser then uses the IP address to connect dun sa website na yun. Right? So importance, ano daw importance ng DNS? Make it possible to browse the web using human-friendly domain names without needing to remember yung complex IP addresses. Again, kung IPv4 pa lang nahihirapan na tayo dun sa 4 na octet, what more pa kapag IPv6 na merong merong numeric and also alphabetical na character. Right? And then DHCP it stands for the Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, and it's a network protocol that automatically assign IP address and other network configuration parameters to devices on a network. For example, so yung mga ano natin, yung mga ITSO natin, hindi hindi sila naglalagay ng IP address isa-isa dun sa mga PC natin sa laboratory. Hindi nila gagawin 'yon. So ang naglalagay doon ng pagka kumo-connect tayo doon sa network, ang naglalagay doon is si DHCP server. For example, doon sa doon sa number of PCs na meron tayo doon sa laboratory, si DHCP yung naglalagay na halimbawa, uy, merong isang buhay na na PC doon sa doon sa laboratory. O yan, ito yung IP address niya. Automatic siya 'yon. Siya yung nag-a-assign. Hindi niya kailangan i-assign 'yon manually. Okay? So mas madali niyang mama-manage 'yon. For example naman, ang IP address kasi is pwede niyang i-distribute 'yon kahit kanino. Halimbawa, si PC1 and PC2, ang IP address ni PC1 is 10.0.0.1 and then si PC2 10.0.0.2. Later on, no, pwedeng magkapalit 'yon. Hindi 'yon forever, no, bakit? Kasi sometimes halimbawa itong PC1, halimbawa kung gagawin natin siya forever, halimbawa is hindi na pala 'to ginagamit or nasira na pala 'to. So, and then sabi mo and then ano mo siya, hinayaan mo lang siya na hindi mo ginagamit yung IP address na yun. So, unusable na yung IP address na yun kasi nakatag siya dun sa PC1 na sira. Pero, itong using the DHCP, halimbawa, dati siya naka-assign doon sa PC na sira and then pwede siyang ma-reuse, no? Hindi naman siya minamanual na assign doon sa PC na yon. And then ilalagay niya lang, itatag niya, halimbawa sira na tong PC1, itatag niya lang yun na unused. Tapos halimbawa napalitan na ng bago. Meron na ulit PC1 pero napalitan ng bagong computer. Yung PC1 dati is tinapon na dahil sira na. Pwede niyang i-assign ulit dito sa bago na yun. Na hindi niya kino-configure manually. Okay? So that's the purpose of DHCP. So later on, I will show you, no, magkakaroon tayo ng ganyang setup. Okay? Or ganyang i-ano ko sa inyo, ituturo ko sa inyo kung paano siya gumagana. Right? And then, ano ba yung function? Ito na, tulad in-explain ko, advance pala ako. Automatic IP address assignment, DHCP servers dynamically assign IP address to devices, client on network. So again, reusable, no? Lahat ng, hindi porket na assign na siya kay PC2 or kay PC1, forever na siya doon. Nag-e-expire din yung leasing. Nililis lang yun, ha? No, nililis. Halimbawa, every 8 hours pwede siya mabago. O yung leasing niya, halimbawa 8 hours yung nakalagay doon na leasing niya. So, after 8 hours, ano niya ulit yun? Magbibigay siya ulit siya ng panibagong IP address. So, ganun yun. Okay? Hindi siya, basta, depende yun sa configuration ng system ad. Okay? Network configuration. Besides IP address, DHCP servers can also provide other network parameters like subnet mask, default gateways, and DNS servers addresses. So halimbawa, hindi lang IP address yung pwede niyang i-assign. Pwede niyang isama rin yung subnet mask, default gateways, and DNS server na ginagawa natin manually usually, di ba, kapag nagse-set up tayo ng IP addresses. So ito automatic din yan, kasama rin siya dun sa pwedeng i-manage ni DHCP. Client-server architecture, DHCP operates on a client-server model where clients request configuration information from a DHCP. So for example, like what I mentioned kanina or nabigay ko na example, si PC1 and PC2 ko connect kay DHCP server para makakuha ng IP address. Okay? So yun yung simple explanation. Then simplified network management, DHCP automates IP address assignment and other network configurations, reducing the need of manual configuration by network administrators. So, ayun, again, hindi na natin kailangan i-manual configuration kasi yung gagawin natin yun, sobrang iisa-isahin natin mga PCs meron tayo dito sa Malayan. Okay? So, medyo mahirap siya. Question, paano kung kung gusto ko i-assign ko sa isang user yung isang IP address. Halimbawa, server siya. Pwede ba yun? Yes, the answer is yes. I-reserve mo lang siya. Halimbawa, sa server 1, ang i-reserve kong IP address is 10.0.0.3. Yun, wala makakaagaw na kundi si server lang. Pwedeng gawin yun. Okay? Then next, flexibility. DHCP can be used in both IPv4 and IPv6. Since meron na tayong IPv6 ngayon, so doable na rin yan. Efficiency, DHCP is used in both small local networks and large enterprise. So pwede rin daw sa mga liliit na na mga network to, halimbawa sa computer shop or sa laboratory or sa mga call centers na enterprise network. Security. While DHCP itself does not offer strong security, the techniques like DHCP snooping and IP address reservation can enhance security. So, explanatory naman to na lahat lang na naka-domain. So, pwede rin yung secured. Lahat lang. Kasi, lahat lang naman na naka-domain yung pwede mong gamitin yung DHCP. Okay? So, halimbawa, yung gagawin natin. Gagawin natin sa laboratory is gusto lang natin lahat na nakakonect dun sa domain. Yun lang yung bibigyan natin ng yun lang yung makakonect sa DHCP server natin. Okay? Alright. I think that would be the end. Okay? So, by the way, heads up, we will be having yung Google alam ko may Google training tayo no related dito sa topics natin. Parang Google Cloud siya. So um it's a online training no on top of what we have on our subject. So there as far as I remember meron siyang certification din. So that would be part of this subject no. So there is a grading din yan. So dapat you will be able to pass it. So for the more details about it, I will explain it siguro on our meeting next week or maybe once I have the more information about it. Okay? All right. Thank you for now and bye.